So a bit about the InsightHub platform. We recognise that no projects are necessarily the same, and therefore our platform can be configured, can be tailored, can be customised in many different ways to suit small projects, but also bigger projects. I was just saying to Jen before, ours is one of the project platforms that sometimes works better where your project needs to scale. The pricing model scales better, but also the platform itself can scale. We do run custom panels on the platform with over 100,000 members in some of them. So there is no fear of adding lots and lots of members. That obviously isn't a qual project, but it just shows what you can scale a project to if you need it to. You can use unlimited concurrent projects. So again, you can customize InsightHub for your own use and then run multiple projects with different clients and different moderators and different brands simultaneously from the one platform, which can make life a little bit easier. You can custom brand it. So should you want to market your own online facility, so to speak, then you can do that. And that creates a white label version for yourself. And then that creates, as I say, almost a product for your own use. And it can support different languages, be that for your own project, or be that if you want to run a multi-country project. Hopefully we'll get time at the end of today to show how to run a multi-country project as well. One of the most advantageous things for ourselves as a company of online research is running international research, because it just cuts down so many costs of running international research. It makes a lot more possible. InsightHub is one platform that does many, many things, which is why it can be configured in many different ways and makes it a lot easier to use. In some senses, it is a one platform solution that gives you lots of things out of the box. Focus groups we'll spend some time talking about today. There are two types of focus group tool. Question board MR, which is what a lot of people would call small communities or bulletin boards. And again, there's quite a lot of platforms, and I'm sure you've seen demos from them, so I won't spend too much time on those today. There's focus group MR, which I will spend time on today because it's one of our original tools. It was built originally to allow us to move face-to-face focus groups into an online setting. And it essentially does everything that a physical facility does, but online. So it was designed to mimic a face-to-face physical facility and create you an online facility, which at this time can be quite useful. Online qual tools on the right, so things if you want to create communities, or if you want to create pre-tasks or post-tasks to those focus groups, if you want to run a diary study, all of those good things on the right-hand side. Smartboard and Scrapbook MR are all about images, really. Smartboard MR is for testing images. We'll see that today, hopefully. Forum MR more for communities, as is Quick Poll MR and Open Poll and Forum. Diary MR is all about individuals. It's good for pre-tasks, but it's also good for those following people's lives, decision-making. Maybe it's 7 days shopping diary, maybe it's video vox pops. It's about the individual. Ties into mobile brilliantly as well, so you can get out of the home and capture moments from people's lives. If you don't want to go into full diary study, as I say, it's very, very good for pre-tasks and the like. Survey tools, there is a fully functioning survey tool in the platform as well. So if you wanted to add quant, if you do that, then you can. But more for your own purposes, it can be very, very good just to integrate screening questions. By using that and integrating screening questions, you can recruit participants directly into the platform with a lot easier processes, less uploading and downloading and things like that. And it will also take screening information directly into the database. So when you export transcripts from tasks and groups, it will bring the information directly out of there. And likewise, all the information in those screening questionnaires can be used for subsampling and segmentation in your studies as well. So if you want to then subdivide the group into different activities or different tasks, then that can also be easier by integrating the screener. There are 4 styles that you could use the InsightHub for. Ad hoc projects, which is what we'll spend most time talking about today. You can create communities, short or long term, so they can be continuous, or they could just be for 1 month, could be 2 weeks, could be anything you like. And it does go all the way up to custom panels and also community panels, whereby you harness both community, ad hoc qual, and the element of pre-screened, pre-opted in customers into a base. Likewise, if any of you have databases of people you regularly go back to for running research. If you like your own recruitment list, that can also be housed in the platform. I mentioned most of these, we'll talk about it today. It can be custom branded, unlimited projects, and international capabilities as well. Oh, I've got to have those on. They're just different examples of what you could make it look like if you wanted to. And now we get to the interesting bit, so we'll get on to the demonstration. I'm going to share with you several different screens with you today, so hopefully I can keep track of all my different browsers. The one that you should be seeing now on the screen is Focus Group MR. It's an online focus group tool. It's built to mimic what you do in a physical focus group facility. So it is a direct online focus group facility. Purpose of this is, don't need to remind you, it's a moderator, 60 to 90 minutes. It's live moderation, live discussions, ideally online between 6 and 10 people. Smaller groups do tend to work better online, but we regularly run groups with 8 and 10. This is a live chat version of an online focus group. It's our traditional way of doing it. Personally, I'm still a big fan of text-based focus groups. I know there's a lot of discussion about video, and we will talk about it today. But the advantage of text, more participants will do this version of research than any other. When we research participants, more people will do this. 1, for convenience, and 2, for anonymity. They much prefer and are far more honest in this version than either physical focus groups or video groups, because they're completely anonymous and hidden in there. But I'm logged in as the moderator here, so I can see who I've got recruited. You can see I've got parts of my screening information loaded up there. So although it is anonymous behind screen names, as a moderator, I can see who's who. I can mute people, I can control who's talking and who's not talking. This is the box where people chat on the left. I type messages into here. One of the difficulties of text is speed, so I can have pre-written questions from my focus group topic guide. I can add stimulus, so I can use pictures, videos, audio, and I'm in control of when to show those in the group. If I go across to my participant view here, you can see that I can't see the other members all in detail. I can just see the names. I can see the text chat and I can see the stimulus. And as I change the stimulus as the moderator, that will also change on their screen as well. So you are in complete control as moderator. I can do show of hands in here. So that's just to quickly, that can help you as a moderator. See who's agreeing and who isn't in a group, and I can share results back in there as well. I can also integrate a smartboard, which is a more interactive task. Again, I'm in control of this, so I push people into the group. The participant will be in the group here, and I can then discuss on the image by placing markers and comments, white sticky labels and things like that. You can have sentiment in there, which will help you heat map the image afterwards. Still have a discussion at the top, but as my allotted time in my topic guide comes to an end, I return people back into that group when I decide. So I'm in complete control. I've got my topic guide. I can upload resources in advance, and I run it pretty much identically to a physical focus group. You can now do video in this tool as well. So when you use this tool, either monthly or annually, you can buy an annual license. You get the option of using both. You get both tools in one. It's like 2 tools in one, effectively. You can have text chat sessions, or you can have video chat sessions. So video focus group tool, we might all be using Zoom a lot, and of course Zoom has a price advantage. We did design Focus Group MR with slight differences to it for our video when we added video into it, and that's because we recognize it's a focus group, it's not a conference call. So some subtle differences in the screen design. I can see the participants here on my screen. We have limited it to 4 people at the moment because, again, online focus groups with video, if you want a good quality discussion, you need to keep the numbers small. If you get up to 8 or 10, it tends to become question and answer. So this is a better size for a group discussion. The real estate on the screen all looks the same. So I can see the 4 members. When somebody speaks, it doesn't suddenly blow up the face to fill the screen. I can always see all 4 people. So I can watch 4 people and I focus on those 4 people as though I'm in the room. My own video stream is hidden behind another tab. So I'm not looking at myself. I'm not trying to look in the mirror as I am now. I'm conscious of my own image in Zoom. In the video focus groups, my focus is on the other 4 people. That's the same for the participants. They see the other 3 participants and you, the moderator. So at all times, the group is focused on the group, not themselves. The other advantage here is because it works in exactly the same way that the live chat version does, I can add stimuli into the group. I can do quick polls. I'm in control of those things. And I'm not sharing screens. So although I'm discussing the image and the stimuli, everyone still remains on that screen as well. So the group dynamic remains. A further advantage of live chat focus groups and of the video version is there is an observer room as well. And this works again differently to Zoom. It works exactly as a physical group would. It's a two-way mirror. It's a virtual two-way mirror. So they have their own chat box and they can discuss amongst themselves. You could have any number of clients watching. We've often had 20 people log in to watch a session, and they can chat amongst themselves wherever they're in the country. The participants have no idea they're there because they can't see that screen at all. So the clients can watch, discuss it as it's going on. You can have a host in there, again, just like a physical group where you've got a moderator in one room and a host in another. So it does work very well for observation. My last word on this tool is the reason I built it personally, or wanted it built, I wanted it built for a number of years, is not to do focus groups, actually to do one-to-one interviews. Depth interviews is the one thing that has been missing in online research really for a long time. Cuts a lot of the cost of doing physical one-to-one interviews and creates a very good environment for the participant. Again, clients can observe. Again, the focus is on the individual. Again, there's no screen sharing getting in the way, and the observers are private behind that. So it does mirror a physical focus group facility, and it can be used for text chat groups, video focus groups, or video IDI depth interviews. So that's all very good. Just want to take it a bit further, really. One of the benefits of doing online focus groups and online research is being able to mix other methods into it. So not having to just think about focus groups or interviews alone. We talk about diaries and pre-tasks. Really, to get the most power out of online research is to think about doing that, adding in pre-tasks, adding in diaries, adding in post-tasks in there. You don't have to go talk about communities, it's just a focus group with an extra bit of a dimension to it. This version is a customized branded site. It's set up just to run focus groups. I can have this screen here. You can see I will get into the focus group by going through there when it is live. When it is not live, it will just advertise the date and time of that group that the member is a member of. But it also has the to-do list here with my pre-task. So in this particular case, I've asked people to do a pre-task, very simple one. Just go to this website, have a look at a menu, familiarize themselves with the content we're going to talk about in the group in advance. That'll save me time in my focus group. Just confirm that you've read it. Give me a bit of an idea about how much you enjoy Mexican food. Tell me about your impressions of that. So again, I can get a feel for the group before I enter the group. Another question on there as well. And I've also added a question here, just a video vox pop. I asked all members to record a smartphone video, 2 or 3 minutes, to introduce themselves, tell me a bit about themselves, about the product they're going to eat, what they like, what they don't like. And that isn't for the focus group. That will give me an idea as a moderator about who's attending. But the really good thing is it will help my reporting at the end of the project, because I'll have some good insight, extra insight to add into that report to introduce the people to stakeholders should I need. And you can make that a prerequisite of a focus group. That's what we do. We tend to, if we push for time, clients putting a lot of things into that topic guide, what we sometimes do is take some parts out of it, put it in pre-task and post-task, gives more space to the real meat of the discussion group, gives me a little bit of extra insight beginning and end. can warm up the moderator and warm up the group so they're ready to land straight into the discussion. So it's a good way of extending it, a good way of managing the content in the topic guide in there as well. And of course, remember, you could have an automatic screener. You could have used a survey as a screener before this. So that's one good way of slightly taking the online focus group a little bit further, dipping toes into more online research without really pushing the boundaries of what we're used to doing in a physical setting. I'm just now going to move across to this version. So again, this is similar branding. It's a different example project. It's again for the same client, but in this particular case, we've decided instead of doing dynamic focus groups, we've decided to go with more the asynchronous community approach. So what we've done here is combine 2 or 3 methodologies together to create a community. When I talk about communities, I really think some people overuse the word community. It can be used for so many different things. I mean, Vision Critical will use the word community as well as other platforms for qual. I think the best way of thinking about online asynchronous research in this way is just think about it's a multi-method project. It's the same as we've done for years and years and years in traditional projects. For years, I've done in-home interviews alongside a diary study. I've done focus groups as part of that. I've added surveys as part of that. I might add a group discussion with a wider number of people. It's just the same thing. Think about the multi-methods that you can bring into this. And what you are doing is creating a project that suits the different objectives. Here, for example, I want to understand how the product fits in people's lives. I want a wide number of opinions, but I also want some depth opinions. So I've got 50 people recruited into this study in total. And that's the advantage of a question board. I can post questions to 50 people with great ease in a question board. It's more efficient than using a live chat focus group. I can just post 2 or 3 questions in here and have people discuss them either privately or as a group. But the great thing is it's efficient. I can get 50 views, maybe not that depth, but it is good, thoughtful feedback. You will get quite a lot of thought from participants. But I might also invite out of those 50 people, I've taken 20 aside for an in-depth diary study. And 20 people in the diary study are going to give me a lot more detail. What I want them to do is tell me about how they consume my product, how they shop for that product. I've set them tasks about consuming the product, asks questions like who they were with, what they did, submit pictures alongside it. I can moderate that, ask comments, ask follow-up questions, follow them over that 7 days. I've got diaries about going to the shop. I've got diaries about Vox Pop videos. I can have lots of different tasks, and a diary study is constructed through many different tasks coming together. Really let your creativity move with a diary study. You can have a completely open-ended journal, and you can have people uploading photographs and videos in there. So through that diary study, for the 20 people, I'm going to get a very, very rich picture. But to add a little bit of scale, remember I've got those 20 and another 30 answering some broader questions in that question board. What you don't want to do in an online study like this is try to cram everything into one method and try to cram all the objectives into a diary study. Move some into different things. To make it creative, and I want lots of rich photographs, as we know, got some in the diary study, I've created a scrapbook. This is a shared collaborative task. All 50 can take part. I've uploaded some photographs. What I want is photographs of people's shared experiences. The joy of Mexican food is in the sharing. I want to bring that to life. The diary study is helping, but I want as many photographs as possible. So I've got all 50 collaborating and encouraging each other, discussing their photographs and things. It's like a forum, it's like a bulletin board, but the screen's been formatted to make it a little bit more like a scrapbook. The benefit for me at the end, that's going to give me a good mood board for my report. And a mood board is, as we know, good qual export at least. So there you can see I've pulled together different things. You might construct a project differently. One of one of the things I love about online research, now we've got the video tool, as you might tell, is running diary studies with one-to-one depth interviews alongside it. And that's fantastic. I can run my diary study, and maybe the 5 or 6 people that really intrigue me out of that 20, I can then decide to run a video depth interview with them and have clients watch it if I wanted to. And I might decide that ahead. I might even decide it halfway through the project. I might just see some things and think, wow, that's fantastic. I really want to pull those in and interview them. And that's the joy of having everything in one platform. You can easily do that. Just pull them in as you see it. And it has that flexibility. And you don't have to move people into different platforms. They've all got their login already to that study. So diary studies with depth interviews, I think, is another great example of what to do with online research. Just conscious of the time, and there's just one last thing that I need to log out and then log back in to show you. So this is so now what I'm going to show you is I've finally gone to the back room of InsightHub, which is the behind the scenes. All of the other stuff is the front end participant element. The point of going to the back room momentarily at the end here is to show the different projects. So we've shown individual projects at the moment. You can customize InsightHub, as I said, you can white label it, but you can also run multiple projects with different clients. If you did white label it as your own agency, then you can run different client projects in there. The other purpose to go into here is to show the ability to do international research. Should you ever need to do international projects, again, you can do that from one platform quite easily. What I'm going to have in this project, I've got that proposition test that I'm running in English. So that looks like this. It is just a simple question board in this project. I haven't got anything else clever going on. It's just 5 question boards. You could have done it with the previous one I showed you with diary studies and things too. So in that project, I'm going to have a UK English moderator. And then I'm going to have a Spanish project. I've got a Spanish project running here. I'm the international project manager, so my nav bars and things are staying in my native language. But if I had more time and logged in as a Spanish customer in there, it's all going to show in their native language. Again, you would have a Spanish moderator in that room. Oh, sorry, wrong way. Versus in the Dutch one, again, I can run that one in native language and you would have a Dutch moderator in that one. The beauty of this is when every moderator logs in and every participant logs in, they will only see the content that they're supposed to see. So when the participants log in, they will just see their project in their language. And when the moderator logs in, the moderator will only see the project that they can moderate over. They won't get access to the Dutch and the UK, they'll just see the Spanish project. And they'll only be able to moderate the Spanish project. I can see all 3 because I'm the international project manager. So I can do that and I can set up tasks. I can do different things in there for it. And I can get into the full running of each of those projects as the international project manager. Again, the moderator wouldn't, they would just be able to moderate the task. But I can look at the participation of each of those different projects. So I can see overall how the Dutch project is running or how the Spanish project is running. I can step in and remind people if I need to. I can do that with quick links to just the people who've not logged in, or I can look at it task by task and tool by tool. If I've got a number of different tasks running in a community, I can look at the response rates for each one. I can message people individually. I can set completion targets in here. So I can see the participation of each of those 3 projects. I can change the sample and add more sample if I need to. I can create that bespoke layout that we talked about for the project page. So you could have a different project page in each of those markets. So I could change the content that each project is seeing. I could have different things running. I could decide in the UK to go further and add video focus groups and maybe add a diary study as well, because that's the core market. And the other markets, I'll just scale with the question board only. And I can do that by adding the tasks into that project through here, and by changing that layout. So the layout will change the content, but it can then also add tasks into that project too, from across the InsightHub. So you can vary the method in each of those markets. And if I needed to tailor the messaging a bit more than just the quick invites and reminders, i.e. if the community is going to run longer, if you're going to run a community beyond maybe a couple of weeks, if you're going to run it into months, then you will need a few more engagement features like the quick polls and things. But you can also send newsletters in there as well. So you've got a newsletter functionality that helps you communicate with the whole project group in that market, in that project area. So that, now you're pushing away from the, certainly from the ad hoc project, probably from the short-term communities. You're probably moving into communities there where are maybe 2 or 3 months long, and you need slightly more than just the research functionality there to make that work well for you. So there is a newsletter functionality built into the platform as well. So that's a whistle-stop tour. We've gone from live chat focus groups mirroring the physical environment. We've gone to video focus groups, video IDIs. We've talked about adding pre-tasks and post-tasks. Now we looked at short-term communities and asynchronous methods very, very quickly. And then at the end, we finished up looking at running multiple projects and how that might work for international projects, or indeed projects for different clients. And just at the end, we've begun to tip into how you might run a longer engagement community with things like newsletters. I am going to stop now and ask if anybody has any questions.